Hello, everybody, and welcome to the HCW show. I am your host, Frozzy, alongside DP and RateWrestle, where we are going to be doing the Annual RateWrestle Awards. This week, it is the top event of 22-23. I believe the countdown is from 50, but Rate will go through that anyway, so if I'm wrong, I apologise. But yeah, how are we doing this week? We'll start with you, DP.
Yeah, can't complain. Happy to be here. Got a massive headache, but other than that, I'm powering through it.
Thought you were going to lie and just not mention the headache you've been moaning about before.
Yeah, that'd be something I'd do. I'd just try and play it off on camera. I'd be like, no, I'm strong. But yeah, apart from the headache, glad you're doing okay. What about yourself, Ray?
Yeah, I'm good. I'm deciding. I'm moving my camera over here because I always have you lot on that screen. It just looks like I'm looking away from you all the time. I'm going to put it over here so then it looks like I'm actually looking at you. And it will probably be more engagement. There we go. Because I'm always looking at this screen. Not this screen. And then my camera's up there. So yeah, I'm doing good. I'm tired and living in the room.
You mean Dave Meltzer's room where he does all his recording?
Yes, this is what I'm trying to get it at now. I'm wearing a Ma.Ce shirt. I'm in Dave Meltzer's room. Here's Dave Meltzer, everyone. I'm leaving HCW.
That's why I don't record in my office. It's just like, it's a shit show.
Yeah, I just accept. Also, normally I have my screen blurred, and I remembered that I was showing my tattoos off to last night, so I'm going to blur my screen now. No, the people see it now. There's no point.
I was going to say, at least you've got a fan in the background, right?
Oh my god! Now I've got the flipping Discord button on the screen. I hate Discord so much. There we go. Yeah, the fan's there, never to be used until literally it's warm as fuck. Like electricity's electricity, boys.
It's the only fan he's got.
No. Let's go back to the Twitch stream. I have a major fan.
Someone was simping for Rate.
And someone was the opposite to DP.
yeah. But yeah, if you wanna start going over exactly the criteria and everything for these awards, for anyone who's never seen them before.
Yeah, so it runs from May to April every year. Events are pretty simple. It just has to be a pay-per-view event / normal events. So like New Japan runs events continuously, so they're fair enough. Whereas something like Raw, SmackDown, etc. wouldn't count. For example, I watched Wrestle Open by Beyond, but that's a kind of weekly show they do where it's just like there's a lot of squash matches and stuff on there, so that wouldn't count. But yeah, it just has to be like a proper event. And it's based upon the overall how many matches are on the card divided by the stars have given the overall matches into an average. So what I'll be doing is we'll move from 50 to 20 without really any kind of discussion from myself, unless you kind of notice something going, hold on, let's look at that, and then we'll kind of look into 20 to 1 in more of a overall context. So we'll go with Don Taku, which was one of the earliest shows of New Japan last year, so it's kind of like the first show I saw of New Japan last year. Let me click on the screen so I can quickly do this. So New Japan Historic X-Over. I'm going to mention a bit about this because obviously it's the first ever Stardom and New Japan show combined. Was it a decent show?
Only ranked 50.
Only ranked, 50 out of like 250 events I watched this year. New Japan Battle Autumn. New Japan presents CMLL Fantastica Mania Day 5.
How do we go from 50 to 47 in 3 shows?
How'd you go from 50 to 47? What do you mean?
In 3 shows. You did 50, 49, 48.
47?
And then the fourth show is 47.
Yeah.
It just looked so wrong when you were changing the screen, like you were talking ahead of what you were showing on the screen.
No, you're wrong.
It's because I've just woke up.
Now you've ruined everything. I'm going to have to start again. Number 50, 46, New Japan Music City Mayhem. Number 45, Impact Wrestling Overdrive. Good old Frankie Zarian, main event. New Japan, we love a bit of New Japan in the top 50. 50th anniversary and the New Japan Cup Day 2. They just put both of the events in one like combined event. DDT Pro, Peter Pan. Wrestle Carnival, Clash Carnival of Champions 2. That's the first Wrestle Carnival I saw live, which is good. Just Tap Out, which is Taka Michinoku's own brand. 50th anniversary of Takatoshi Together, last Takatoshi. New Japan Raw Quest Day 1. So a 5-star match you see there. And number 40. Impact Wrestling Under Siege. Prestige Roseland 5, so that was probably the most recent on this listing. I think that only came out like literally the end of April. April 29th, it literally says it there. There we go, so it just qualified. NXT Deadline. Stardom, Midsummer, Kings of Midsummer. That still really baffles me, Kings of Midsummer, for that show, but fair enough. Impact Wrestling Emergence. All Elite Wrestling, The Forbidden Door. Wonderful times that was. House of Glory, Revelations. I wanted to watch this match because it was had Low-Key versus Kenta, which seemed like an incredible match, and it was. And I think this is one of the last Briscoes matches that I saw. Lying, that was from December 17. I must have watched it late then. Hell in a Cell, WWE. The 9th anniversary of Kamikaze Pro. If you may notice, DP, there's a nice little Charles Crowley up there for you.
I noticed.
All Elite Wrestling Double or Nothing. So I would rate this the lowest Double or Nothing I've seen. Because normally Double or Nothing's like the highest rated AEW pay-per-view for me, if I remember from my previous ratings. Stardom, All-Star Grand Queendom. Progress, When the Man Comes Around.
I remember reviewing that.
Yes. Mm-hmm. Was I a part of that one? Was that the only triple threat one we've done, Progress was?
It could have been.
Because I think, so TNT, Game Changer Wrestling, so they did a joint show in Liverpool, which was just TNT versus Game Changer Wrestling. Deadlock Pro, No Pressure. Always good, Deadlock Pro. WrestleMania Saturday, number 25. Number 24, Gold Rush Stardom. Number 23, New Japan, New Beginnings in Osaka. Rev Pro live in Birmingham comes in at 22. 21 is Dream Queen and Stardom. And then we'll start going from here. So Ring of Honor, Final Battle, is ranking in the top 20. So this was a decent overall card. So obviously you got FTR versus Briscoes, which in my eyes should have main evented. Not just because of the 5-star rating, but just because it had the more story base. Chris Jericho versus Claudio just seemed like it was just thrown there. It was a good match though. Samoa Joe versus Juice Robinson was just alright. Daniel Garcia Wheeler Ute was always a good match. And then the other matches were just there really. No real build up to any of them.
Yeah.
Don't know if there's any thoughts.
I sort of get why Jericho and Claudio went on last because it's the world title match.
Yeah, I can see it being there. It's just there was no story to build. It was just this is the world title.
Yeah, and it was easily Claudio's worst match in the title scene.
Yeah.
Yeah, we knew that FTR and the Briscoes was going to be a good match, but you can't just because you can't just that has to be the main event.
Yeah, I think Joe's the main event. He's on the poster.
No, I think it was a case of they had that match, and then everything after that sort of was like a deflating sense.
Yeah.
Yeah, they jammed that jam. I'm saying it live on this video as well.
Good God.
So, number 19, AEW Revolution. So, one of my favourite matches of the year was MJF versus Bryan Danielson, which will be on next week's video, where it will rank. We will find out. Obviously, this had Chris Jericho, Ricky Starks. I don't really care for Ricky Starks. It was still alright. Christian Cage versus Jack Perry was the last match they had, wasn't it? Was it a last man standing match? What was the match type?
It was the coffin match, wasn't it?
Coffin match, that was it. No, was it? I remember ending with a concerto from Jack Perry. That's all I remember.
I don't remember.
Elite versus House of Black was a very good match. Jamie Hayter and Ruby Soho was just a clusterfuck of Jamie Hayter getting over. John Moxley, Adam Page is always a good matchup. Samoa Joe versus Wardlow was pants. As usual, they've bucked Wardlow into the ground. And then it was a weird order if you look at it. Like Samoa Joe, Wardlow, the Guns versus that Fatal 4-Way Tag Team match. You move that like slowly down the card. It kind of built well. But it feels like they had John Moxley, Adam Page, really good match, and then it just went to a bit of a crap, and then went to the main event.
Yeah.
Well, you don't want to give too much away one after the other.
Yeah.
Yeah, I kind of agree with it though. I think it was good to have a sort of that come down before the main event.
But I think it's too much of a come down.
Yeah, no, I think 2 matches is too much.
Yeah, you
like if you'd have moved like any of the matches after the trios match.
Yeah, because the women's match was just going to go middle because it's the only women's match on the card. But yeah, overall, obviously top 20 main event. And MJF versus Bryan Danielson. If that match wasn't there and that was like a 3.5 star, this probably would be in like the 40s. So I think that match is the major match on that show.
That is fair. Yeah, that's probably like the I think best ever, but it's up there for like Iron Man matches in general.
It's probably one of the best Iron Man matches. Like I'm very markish towards Shawn Michaels, so I'll always like the Bret Hart Shawn Michaels, and it was the kind of like the overtime extraordinaire, kind of getting beaten down for everything. But it's on par with that. I can't think of many other good matches. Actually, Shawn Michaels versus John Cena. Let's go marking out for Shawn Michaels. That one on when it went on. I don't even. Was it an Iron Man match? Or did the match just go 60 minutes?
I think it was 60 minutes.
Research that, someone. We'll move on then. All Elite Wrestling, Full Gear. I don't remember this main event, which is mental. I read it 3 3/4, and I just looked at it and went, "Oh yeah, that was a match." Like I don't remember it being a match.
This is the one where MJF won the title finally.
Was the shenanigans?
Yes, a lot of it.
What happened? Bring it back to me, DP. As our
I don't remember fully. I remember it ended with MJF using the diamond ring.
It was a match. Death Strong versus the Elite. I remember because it was just the Elite coming back, wasn't it? And it was like, was this the start of like the 55 match series they had? Then you have matches like Jade Cargill versus Nyla Rose, which I don't care for. Luchasaurus Jack Perry was decent. The Fatal 4-Way for the Ring of Honor Championship, I believe that was. Chris Jericho, Danielson, Claudio, and Sammy Guevara. Soroya's first match? Is that against Britt Baker?
I believe so.
Yeah. Wardlow, Joe and Power Hobbs, just the TNT title / Wardlow being in a match just brings everything down. Like, I'm writing on Wardlow. It's not his fault. He's just been booked assly. And then, Tommy Storm, Jamie Wright was kind of like a steeper match on that. But overall, obviously, it rated up a bit more higher than Revolution, which is mental to see. But I just don't remember that main event.
No. Shawn Michaels and John Cena was just 60 minutes.
60 minutes. And then they went to an overtime, I think, because there wasn't a winner, because then Shawn Michaels won it in the end, if I remember.
Yeah, and then he thought at WrestleMania 23.
Okay. But yeah, moving on to that. So number 17, Wrestle Kingdom from this year, New Japan. Main event from Jay White, Kazuchika Okada. So Okada always has good matches. I wasn't like fully invested in this, so it wasn't like a 5-star banger you come to expect. Because I just expected Jay White to lose. And yeah, Will Ospreay, Kenny Omega was always going to be good. Always.
Yeah.
And
in general, the whole card itself was very solid.
Yeah, it was a decent card. Omega Ospreay was a weird type match as well because Omega was battering Ospreay for 90% of the match. Yeah. Absolutely creaming him. Fatal 4-Way match was decent on there. The KJ Muto kind of like sign off match was fine for what it was. Normally them kind of matches are like 2.5, but it actually reached. Anderson versus Tamatonga. Did Anderson retain? I feel like he retained.
No,
did he not retain and then he lost the match later on?
I think he won it, didn't he? Tonga, I mean.
Oh, did Tonga win it? I can't remember because there was shenanigans of Carl Anderson, wasn't there, if he's going to have the match or not? I don't know if it was on this card or it was on another card after this.
Wasn't that before, though? Before this?
Yeah, I feel like that was before this.
It might have been. But yeah, that might have been.
Oh, no, it was because of Crown Jewel, wasn't it?
Oh,
Saudi stuff.
Was it Hikalu that I'm thinking of when he beat him.
Hikuleo,
Yeah, he beat him, didn't he? To retain, and then he lost to Tamatonga. But yeah, 2.375. I think that was just because I knew Anderson was losing then, clearly. Saver and it was fine. FTR Bishamon was fine. And the opener I did enjoy. But yeah, overall just a solid. Wrestle Kingdom's always a good card, though, isn't it? I was glad it was down to one night.
Yeah.
Yes, very much so.
Number 16, Bound for Glory Impact. Impact are one of these brands now that people hate Impact from previous years, so will struggle to watch it. But they have good matches. Josh Alexander was just carrying it on his back all year, though. Grace versus Slamovich, 4-star classic. That the Call Your Shot Gauntlet. I don't remember much of that match. Honor No More versus Motorship Machine Guns are always going to be a good match. I always call them the original Kingdom more than Honor No More with Taven and Bennett. And then the first couple of matches are right, and then Bailey versus Kazarian's always like highlight matches. So it was only like the two matches in the middle that kind of let it down. Not even the middle, two matches nearer the start.
Second and third.
Yeah. Nearer the start, but not the start. So up next, World Wrestling Entertainment Survivor Series War Games. This was helped by there was only like 5 matches. Like if there was a usual like getting to 6 or 7, then it probably would be lower down. But the women's War Games was good, and the men's War Games was really good because of the story of the Sami Zayn, Jey Uso bloodline. Is Sami going to finally turn? No, he didn't turn. He kicked Kevin Owens in the balls. Haluva kicked him. Oh, I still remember it. And the acknowledgement of Jey Uso, it was so good. So good event ending. And it's still going now, and it's so good. So good. Have we heard the SmackDown? What's happened on SmackDown yet? I know we discussed it on the podcast, but so good. So good.
I've seen little bits, but not tremendous.
I'm not seeing much of it now.
So good. So good. Ronda Shotzi was there. Styles Finn Balor could have been better. And then Seth, Bobby, and Theory was alright. But yeah, Women's War Games was just a good overall affair, but it was just the Bloodline match was the...
Yeah.
It's only got quarter of a star more, but I think it was just the Bloodline story that got it a quarter star more. Next up, PWG, Battle of Los Angeles Day 2. I only watched this recently. Battle of Los Angeles is just indie porn.
Yes.
That's all it is. But it's good indie porn. And then obviously you have the match of the Jericho Appreciation Society being on the show. That depressed me, that match. Like, it was good, but it wasn't like amazing. And I think I discussed it with you. I don't know if it was on Twitch stream or it was just randomly about this fucking slow-mo thing they did.
Yeah, we did talk about this.
Yeah, and it just ruined the match. And it's like, come on.
Yeah.
Come on, Excalibur. I know you're looking this.
It's typical PWG though, isn't it?
Yeah, but it's kind of like, come on. Like, you've got the Jazz Society on. Like, you've got 5 AEW Go wrestlers you've somehow managed to book because you're linked to AEW. Don't do this. Anyone that's kind of casually going to be watching your show because they're on it are going to go, oh.
Yeah. Either way, ignore that. The main event was insane.
Yeah, Bailey Takeshita was very good. Bailey had fought 4 matches on this card, if you noticed by then. So he basically, the night before he couldn't be there, so he had to have a qualifying match with Jordan Grace, who had beat Gresham the night before, which is weird to say. And then he had to fight Shun Skywalker, who kicked the crap out of him. Then he fought Brian Keith, who kicked the crap out of him. Then he fought Takeshita, who kicked the crap out of him, but he won. But yeah, overall, it's just indie porn, and I love it. And Brian Keith is underrated, by the way. Just throwing it out there. Brian Keith is brilliant. Go check Brian Keith out, Frozzy. Now, I'll pause the video. Did you enjoy that Brian Keith match you just watched, Frozzy?
Great, mate. Best thing since sliced bread.
Yep. He does the sliced bread. No, he doesn't. WrestleCon, Mark Hitchcock Memorial Super Show. So obviously it is what it is. It's a memorial show they book every year around WrestleMania. It's indie porn, but there's different variations. So you've got the typical luchador trios match, which is just insanity. But I was getting to the point where I've seen too much of Commander, and he's stale for me now. I've discussed this on many a show. AEW have now signed him, haven't they? And he's just going to be style as fuck. What's he going to do? Every match, just stand on the apron, the other side of the ring, then walk the ropes and then jump over. Like, you can't show that 20 times. Like, it just gets a bit dull.
I agree.
Like, you obviously have the Undertaker's old school, but he got to the point. He just kind of walks across and hit it, and he's a massive man, so there's kind of a spectacle with it.
That wasn't the only thing he
didn't
did.
do the full rope.
Yeah, he didn't just continuously do it, yeah. Blake Christian was just a very, very good match. Blake Christian is Michael Oku is the Blake Christian of the British Indies, gone like all heart, getting beaten up. So it was a weird kind of them going against each other. Ultimo Dragon versus Negra Casillas, I just loved it. I didn't rate it highly because it was just a slow match because both guys are Negra Casillas is 65 or something like that. But the way he wrestles is just submission based, so he can kind of get away with it. Another lucha match, fine. Galeno Del Mal, really impressed by him. He's a really big lucha. He's related to Dr. Wagner Jr. And then you have the TJP matches, Mike Bailey matches, United Empire, which I feel like that match would have been incredible if Will Ospreay was in there. It was really good, but Will Ospreay was supposed to be there instead of Jeff Cobb, but he got his injury. But yeah, overall, great show. Tokyo Joshi Pro. So this is right up your wheelhouse, Frozzy, and this is why I bring on DP for the show, because I'd just be speaking. So Tokyo Joshi Pro is kind of light-hearted, but then has good matches on there because it's linked to DDT Pro. So you have people like Hyper Misawa, who's literally Nikki ASH, would probably be the best way for WWE fans. Nakajima Tatsumi, good main event, but I really like the Magical Sugar Advocates, Saki Akai Yuri matches. They're just good tag team matches, which is mental to say because you'd expect it to be all four people in the ring all the time kind of matches, but they're not. They actually follow the tag team matches, they're actual proper FDRE kind of tag team matches. Yamashita versus Thunder Rosa. So I believe Yamashita won this match. You messed that. She beat Thunder Rosa, and I think this led to them fighting on AEW. Maki Ito versus Windsor. Windsor actually picked up the title, from remembering this as well. Just overall decent card. This probably would get in the top 10, nearly top 5 if you didn't have the first couple of matches, which is kind of the newer people kind of getting on the card.
And Aja Kong.
Yep. I like Aja Kong. You can't. Aja Kong is brilliant. Have you seen Aja Kong, Frozzy?
I've heard the name. I don't think I've seen
Aja Kong, you'll pitch. She was at AEW, the original All Out. Not All Out. Yeah, she might have been the original.
Part of that Fatal 4-Way in All In, wasn't it?
She's the older woman that's kind of big, wears face paint like the Ultimate Warrior, blonde hair. But yeah, she's just hilarious. She's not on the poster, annoyingly. That would have been easier. World Wrestling Entertainment's Elimination Chamber. So this was obviously all about Roman Reigns versus Sami Zayn. They're on the poster, and the Bloodline complodes. Sami Zayn tries to implode the Bloodline. The story's there. People may have thought Sami was going to win. Frozzy definitely thought Roman was going to win. There was never any chance of Sami winning. It still makes me sad today, but the story was there, wasn't it? The booking was there, but the 6-man Elimination Chamber. I rated 4.25 stars. It was good. I just don't remember it now. It's mental. I'm trying to picture it in my head.
It was spot fest for Montez Ford, basically.
Oh yeah, because Montez Ford was eliminated last, wasn't he, in the end? Because Phoenix Edge versus Judgment Day. This was that was just the fallout from that rivalry, wasn't it? Lashley Brock was fine, and then Natalia, the women's fight, Elimination Chamber was fine as well. Brock Lesnar and Lashley, if I remember, I'm saying it's fine. I've wrote it 2 stars. If I remember now, it just clicked in my head. It was the one where the roll up happened, was it?
I thought it was a low blow, wasn't it?
Was it a low blow? It might have been the low blow. Yeah, no disqualification, low blow, wasn't it? It was more recent. Yeah, because it was prior to that was the match where the Hurt Lock was in, and then he kind of rolled him up. If I remember, I'm so shady on this rivalry. But yeah, overall, good event. Roman Reigns carrying WWE on his back, led by Sami Zayn and the Bloodline. Oh, wrestling. I I thought I moved something then, but it didn't happen. World Wrestling Entertainment Extreme Rules.
We're very high up this year.
Yeah.
They've been very good this year.
Yeah, but you've also got to think as well, Imperium Brawling Brutes was on this fucking show. Just meaty men slapping each other.
It's like, I've got a feeling I know what one of the matches will be, or one of the cards will be higher up on this list, but...
Yeah.
And you'd be wrong. No, yeah, I don't know what you're on about yet. But yeah, all these matches were like, there was no match that kind of let it down. Even like the middle matches there, they were like, even Drew McIntyre versus Karrion Kross, which you'd think would be ass, wasn't that ass. Liv Morgan, Ronda Rousey was just there, but it was better than I expected. Imperium Brawling Brutes was just insane. Bianca Belair and Bayley, was that the match? I'm trying to think if that was the match where... No, I don't think it was the last man standing match, was it?
No, that was Saudi.
Was that the one we watched live? Yeah.
Yeah.
That was a good time. That won't be on this list because Brock Lesnar versus Bobby Lashley doesn't exist in my mind on that show because I couldn't watch it because I couldn't log in. And then Edge versus Finn. That was a good match as well. Just an overall good card. And Seth versus Matt Riddle. That was the fight pit, wasn't it?
It was the fight pit, was it? Yeah.
I think
maybe.
So.
That was good. Kamikaze Pro. So Frostfight. So this was highlighted by Chuck Mambo versus Man Like the Reese. So it was a vacated title. Sean Customer had to vacate due to an injury. Chuck Mambo versus Man Like the Reese for the title was just an absolute banger of a match. It was your typical kicking out of everything at the end kind of match, but the crowd was invested. I was invested. I wanted Chuck Mambo to win. Man Like the Reese won, which was fair enough because it's his home brand. It made more sense. Chris Ridgway and MJ Grayson was a banger of a match as well. MJ Grayson's first main roster match going against Chris Ridgway. Robbie X versus George Lydon. Incredible matchup. Chantel versus Lucia Lee. Just overall, very good matchup. And you can see up there the Bled versus 02121. So, unlike the race, had to pull double duty on this night. And then Tateness versus Greatness for TP.
Yeah, fair.
Overall, just there was no every match was a 3-star plus. And that's how it's somehow whammed itself in the top 10. Wham. And I'm moving the graphic rather than the thing now. This is professional. 8, Sakura Genesis.
Fucking hell.
Yes. Yes, but if you're going to... The last 5 matches are all 4-star matches. All of them.
Yeah.
So that's probably what's padded this out. So... El Desperado, Hiroshi Tanahashi, and Yo versus Great Ma.Ce and Yano. That was that clusterfuck match, wasn't it? Where no one got on, but they got put all together. I'm just going to skip the first 3 because I just want to talk about the last 5. So Mercedes Moné, Asuka, and AZN, which is a really good triple threat match. Not like a spot fest triple threat match, and it worked as well because it wasn't the typical triple threat match where there's one person disappeared for 10 minutes. They were always in the ring together. It just was just fluid, and it's how a triple threat match should work. Like on the odd occasion, someone will be knocked out. It makes sense. But it's not like, oh, this person knocked out, we can fight for 25 minutes. Then this person knocked out, we can fight for 20. Yeah, it's like there was always 3 of them mostly in the ring. Sabre versus Humano was just wrestling porn for DP.
Pretty much, yeah.
Bishamon Aussie Open was just wrestling porn for me. Tag team wrestling, good tag team wrestling. If I remember, this is where Cole Rolling, he said then Cole Fletcher got absolutely whammed in the back of the head when he hit his head on the back of the New Japan barriers, busted wide open on accident. Takahashi always has good matches, so there's that. And then the Okada Sonata match was good. It wasn't amazing, but it was good. And this was obviously the coming out party for Sonata, and just 5 guys.
I'm still very surprised by the decision to put the title on Sonata. I'm glad.
There's 5 4-star matches, TP, what can I say? Going up to number 7, Stardom, Triangle Derby, Championship Battle. So, wrestling. No. Deepu, was this the one? Because this happened a while. Was this the one where it was they had the massive globe ball on top of the thing, and then it smashed like 10 seconds into the match.
I think so.
Yeah, basically for your amusement, like Frozzy, ladder match was the main event. They have like a massive like spherical ball that's holding like loads of gold and stuff. That's the whole point of the match. The ladder hits it and it smashes.
Oh wow!
Yeah.
How did you get around this?
I think they just put something on top instead of it. If I remember, it was just half the I can't even remember like what they did with it, and I think that's the reason it was only a 3.5-star match. It was good, but the concept was ruined instantly.
Yeah.
Julie versus Yukili was fine. AZM Starlight Kid was just a banger of a match. Starlight Kid full pout heel run at that point. Very very good. Kamatani, Hazuki were always having good matches, and the rest of the card was fine. There was not a letdown match where Stardom has like the first few tag team matches are a pants. This was all even like the first match was a 3-star match.
Yeah.
It's normally what lets them down is the high speed title because it's just two young young boys they have for New Japan. It's like their variation, and it's like 2 to 5 minute matches, and they go at it like they've been fighting 45 minutes. It's mental. Like they'll have like kick outs where they've been fighting 5 minutes, but they kick out like the Roman Reigns, just like fucking them free, and it's like you can't be this knackered. Number 6, Super Card of Honor, Ring of Honor. It kills me not to put a U in these, by the way. Every time I type in them, it kills me not to put a U in Honor. So was this the most recent one, wasn't it? Yeah.
Yeah, it was.
So Claudio versus Eddie Kingston was just storyline driven, and I was there for it. El Hilo de Vikingo Commander. This was probably one of the first ones I saw of this match, so I wasn't dead to it yet. If this was one of the last ones, I'd be dead to it by now, and this probably would be lower rated. The 5-man ladder match was great. Yuta versus Shibata, I was so surprised by the winner. So surprised they picked up the win, and loved it at the same time.
Yeah.
Just overall, it was just a good card. There's no match to kind of let it down. Samoa Joe had a good match, which was good with Briscoe. Athena's Sakazaki, they showed off that the women's matches can be good if you give them actual time. Tanahashi Garcia was just Tanahashi, let's get him on the card match, but it was fine. And then the Embassy versus Fox Blake and Metallic was just there.
Yeah.
Wrestling.
Number
5, Rev Pro Epic Encounters. DP porn.
Nice. I was at the show.
Yeah.
Did you say, were you there?
Yeah, I was there.
Talk me through it, DP.
Well, no.
So this was supposed to be main evented by Will Ospreay. Weirdly, he's in the poster versus Suzuki. Yep. It really threw me when I was looking up the poster, and I remembered. I was like, oh, okay. So Suzuki versus Oku was a good match. It was the typical Suzuki beating down Oku for 55 minutes. They felt like Aussie Open versus Velocities. You need to see that match.
Insane match, yeah.
Velocities are from Australia as well, if I remember. So they were brought. So obviously Aussie Open were going to do them the good of kind of highlighting them to a bigger stage. Smoking Ashes and Lycos Goon, I nearly said then. Lycos Jim versus Yumino, Sunshine Machine, and Suji. So we get a good match. Oku versus Mills. Mills was alive in that match. And then Robbie X versus Luke Jacobs, which was your typical Robbie X springing everywhere, Luke Jacobs being a powerhouse, absolute chaos.
Yeah, no, I mean, I agree mostly. Like, I will say I'm surprised you got the 8-man tag rated higher than the Maloney and Kid match, but that's what it is.
Kid, I don't get Kid sometimes. I can watch him, and then sometimes I can't watch him. It's just like, because his matches are just the same 4 moves.
Yeah, valid.
There we go. There's some spite and Gabriel Kid. I do apologise. Battle of Los Angeles, Night 1, wrestling porn. So I think why this was rated higher than the other one was because there's less matches on this card, so the average is kind of harder to kind of sway. And then these were all qualifier matches, except for the main event was a qualifier match. It was a qualifier match. Yeah, they literally all are qualifier matches. So Shelley versus Slamovich had the essence of it being like an intergender match, and Slamovich kicked the crap out of Shelley, but Shelley was like the heel of it. Keith Kento was one of the highlights of the night, because I don't get to see much of Keith. And Brian Keith, for you, Frozzy, he's just he's like a smaller version of Keith Lee, but hits harder. It's probably the way I've seen it. He's just a big guy. He's not like massive, but he's big for his size. Yeah. Latigo versus Commander, just another lucha match. Gresham versus Grace was fine. It was good, but it was just the typical weird, they're in a relationship, let's fight match. And Grace won. Choked out Gresham. But she is a bodybuilder.
Yeah, don't we know it?
Takeshita Oku. A typical Oku match, you're getting kicked the crap out of. Every match just get kicked the crap out of, fights it back, but then ended up losing. And Luchador main event.
Yeah, fair.
Number 3.
Is this the one where Jericho appeared?
No, that was the one I spoke about like 15 minutes ago, Dover. And we spoke about the slow-mo.
No, I meant wasn't there. I think on the previous show before, and then that led to the next match. But well,
no, that was prior to the match.
Oh, fair enough. Yeah, I'm getting my things mixed up.
You've ruined everything. Let's start from 50. So moving on swiftly, Death Before Dishonor, Ring of Honor. So FDR Briscoes, absolute banger of a match, surprisingly. We'll start from the top from there. So Gresham Cardio, this was the weird match. It was good, but it was very short, and then Gresham was pissed and walked out. If I remember from this, because his PWI rating, he was in the top 10. That's where all that joke started from. The trios matches in Ring of Honor can be hit and miss. This was fine. Yuta versus Garcia, they always put on great matches. Roosh versus Dragon Lee, they always put on great matches. Mercedes Martinez versus Serena Deeb, I was surprised by how good it was. Like, Serena Deeb's very good, but Mercedes Martinez either has a good match or she has a really, okay, that was a match. And then Joe and Lethal actually showed that these two can actually wrestle if you give them a match in a good amount of time against people that are good at wrestling.
Yeah.
Did we enjoy this show?
Not enough to put it top 3, but yeah.
Yeah, same as Frozzy, really.
The average ratings. Like, if my own opinion, I look back at them, I probably could change it, but I go via my average ratings. I can't change them. This is what it is.
Yeah.
Number 2, Clash at the Castle. There you go. I was there.
It was always going to be high.
Were you there, Frozzy?
I was there, mate, yeah.
DP doesn't like WWE. He won't pay money to go to WWE, but he'll pay $1,000 to go see AEW, won't you, DP?
I didn't pay $1,000.
Yeah, but you were contemplating at one point. This match had Gunther versus Sheamus. This match was incredible.
Yeah.
It was good live, DP. You should have went.
I'm still shocked. I'm still shocked it couldn't be 5 stars. Baffles me.
Yeah.
How is that not a 5-star match?
It just didn't get to it. I just didn't.
It did.
The way I work out in my head, it was at 4 3/4, and then it just finished, and I was like, oh.
No, it was literally like, it was 5-star from the minute they did the stare down at the start. I was like, this is 5 stars.
4 3/4. So the women's match at the start was good. I think it was just more of the crowd, this is the first pay-per-view in years, but it actually wasn't bad as a match.
So they hijacked it.
Yeah. Damage control shenanigans. Hey, we want some Bayley, which kind of made it even better because Bayley couldn't. She was trying so hard to heal up. Every time she was swearing, and it was just like, oh, hey, we want some Bayley. Yeah, it was just that kind of thing. Liv Morgan, Shayna Baszler struggled because of the match prior. Edge and Rey Mysterio versus Judgment Day, that was a good match, and then obviously the heel turn afterwards, but that isn't kind of rated in the match. I don't like shenanigans after the match and thing. I don't add to the ratings of matches. Riddle Seth was amazing, and Seth Rollins was loved, and then Roman Reigns McIntyre. The heartbreak.
Yeah. It was so good, but it was so bad at the same time.
And then just the presence of Solo Sikoa coming and saving the day, and now look at him now.
Yeah.
And
So,
we'll miss out Tyson Fury absolutely destroying Austin Theory.
Oh God, I forgot about that. Yeah, like that punch, that sell. Good God, that sell.
Yeah.
I forgot. Yeah, he tried to cash in, didn't he? That just blew my mind
Yeah.
that you mentioned that. That sell from Austin Theory from Tyson Fury's punch. Whoa.
Yeah.
Whoa.
So good.
So what are we thinking is number one?
And now I don't know, because I thought this might be it. But I feel like SummerSlam was a good show, and that isn't on here.
I don't remember SummerSlam. What happened on SummerSlam?
Wasn't that where Brock got his tractor out? Tipped the ring up.
I feel like the main event was very good, yeah, but I don't remember.
Yeah, but it had all the returns and everything like that. Like Dakota and Io came back. Becky Lynch. Oh no, Lynch was the year before.
Yeah, I think that was Bianca beat Becky. Bianca beat Becky, didn't she, to kind of thing.
It was the first show after Vince had gone. And every match was good.
I'll find what I rated these matches afterwards. I won't do it on this video, but we'll discuss that afterwards. DP, yeah.
Yeah, I'm gonna guess because I was thinking about why they're talking. I'm gonna guess Rev Pro 10th anniversary day 2.
Yes. Well done, DP.
I was there.
Look at it. So Will Ospreay, Ricky Knight Jr., 5-star absolute banger of a match. Machine Velocities, absolute banger of a match. Mike Bailey versus Leon Slater, absolute banger of a match. Eddie Dennis versus Gideon Gray. Luke Jacobs versus Tony Deppin, absolute banger of a match. Kanji versus Santown Jordan was good. Chantal was getting over with the Repro crowd, which is good. And then the Greedy Soul Destination Everio was fine at the start of the show. Good match.
And that was the heel turn for Connor.
Yeah. So imagine if that Dennis Gideon Gray match didn't exist. This would be my favourite show ever, probably, according to my ratings.
It was an impromptu match, Dennis and Gray.
It was an impromptu, let's not do this match ever again match. But yeah, overall, very, very good match. And I think that's the reason RevPro ranked highly on the top company videos. Watch the previous video. So they've had a few matches in the top 20. Ring of Honor, obviously, they were quite highlighted on this, and FTR carried Ring of Honor to the top company award.
Yeah.
And just overall, very good year. Very good year of wrestling.
Yeah. It's been sort of like, when you look back at 1 to 50, I suppose, we highlighted more 1 to 20. But it is a mixture of the companies you'd expect.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, last year there was no, I don't believe there was any WWE, barely any, on it from the year before. Maybe the WrestleManias.
Yeah, there might have been. So yeah, thinking about it, yeah. So the top 20, you've got 1 WWE pay-per-view, 2 WWE pay-per-views, which is meant to launch Crown Jewel.
It was Rev Pro again.
Rev Pro's 2 years in a row. Rev Pro is living the dream. They're living rent-free in these awards.
They are, genuinely one of the best.
But if you look at it, New Japan was heavily in the top 20. This year, they were heavily in the top 50. So there's a change in shift. And then, like previous years, I can click onto this. So this will be good for you, DP, because you'll be able to see who you need to put on the picture. So you got Double or Nothing the first year, NXT Takeover Vengeance the next year after that, and then Rev Pro High Stakes. And for anyone previous, these are the last year awards. Wonderful. Back to the thing. I don't think actually that will show correctly on the screen. I've just realised. Hold on. Yeah, it will. Yeah, sorry, because I realised you can see it full screen because I'm sharing your screen, but I've cut it up on the actual pod, but it is showing correctly. So but yeah, so that's the end of today's awards, sponsored by RateWrestle.com. I don't think it's RateWrestle.com. I don't own that thing anymore. It's RateWrestle.webley.com. I used to own RateWrestle.com, and I couldn't be asked to pay for the padding every year. So if someone wants it, have it.
Fair enough. Well, yeah, as Ray alluded to, that brings an end to this side of the awards for this week. There is going to be more awards to come. What have we got left to go over, right?
So, match of the year will be next week. Then it's tag team, female, and male wrestlers the following 3 weeks.
Fair enough. And you'll catch a mix of us, maybe all three of us. It'll definitely be Rate because there is awards. But yeah, between me and DP, we'll either both be on or one of us will be.
DP
Yeah.
will mainly be on the. It will have to be on the male and female shows for the sake of Japan.
For the sake of Japan. But yes, that is where we'll leave it for today. So check out the last awards video. Check this one out. Keep liking, subscribing, following at the HCW Show on Twitter, at the HCW Show on YouTube, at HCW Show anywhere that has social media apart from TikTok. But yeah, you keep liking and subscribing, and we will keep pumping out the content. There's lots coming out. So, has anyone else got anything to add before we end this video?
How's your head, DP?
My head is still intensely throbbing. But other than that, I'm getting by.
Aren't we all? We're all just surviving.
Yeah. But yeah.
But yeah, we'll leave it there, and we'll catch you on the next one. See you later.
Peace.
Jam that jam!